Buckle up, traders. The markets are buzzing with US-China trade talk, surprise rate cuts, and big earnings on the horizon. Want to know what's moving the needle this week? Key supports and resistance levels, and 5 sizzling stocks to day trade? Stick around. This is your ultimate guide to crushing it in the market this week. So we do have a lot to talk about. So the US-China trade talks resuming Monday in London with tensions high as the July tariff deadline looms. We got some China rare earth restrictions, potentially supply chain shocks for tech and energy sectors. We got some talks with India and US related to trade extending into next week, aiming for a deal by July 9th. We got some supply hikes in the OPEC plus third consecutive increase could pressure oil prices, so keep that in mind. And we have some things for next week. So we have the US CPI inflation, June 11th. This is going to be critical for Fed rate cut expectations. We got the NFIB Small Business Survey, gauges tariff impacts on small businesses. Federal Reserve speeches, clues on rate cut decisions before June 17th to the 18th FOMC meeting. ECB rate decisions, likely 25 BPS cut with Trump's 50% EU tariff threat in focus. We got the Apple WWDC, June 9th. Software updates could move Apple stock, and related to AI can move some AI stocks. We have corporate earnings, Broadcom, and we got some more things related to the US and China trade talks. Monday's outcome could sway global markets overall. Just want to say, if you want to take your trading to the next level, I made an option course. It's first link in the description below. Promise you'll make your money back within your first trading day. Teaches you everything that you guys need to know about options and strategies so you guys can remain profitable overall. So to get started, we have Meta in talks to make an investment that could exceed $10 billion in Scale AI. Keep in mind, it's not final yet and could still change, but the company was founded in 2016. Scale AI is a data labeling startup backed by tech giants like NVIDIA, Amazon, and now Meta. There are rumors that Trump wants to sell or give away his red Tesla Elon Musk gave to him. The beef is getting out of hand with Trump's name being in the Epstein files. What's next? Honestly, his red Tesla is better off in the scrapyard with the used Tesla prices going down. But what's next in this beef? Elon Musk is going to confiscate his red Tesla? But comment down below if you really think that Elon Musk is using drugs. But some updates on the ongoing beef between Elon Musk and President Trump. We do got some new updates this week, so let's get started. But before we start, I have a full video explaining everything back to like 2017. So check that out if you guys want to know the full details, but we're just showing you guys updates and just overall what is going on. So in short, Elon Musk disagrees with the big beautiful bill. And also his company is also taking a hit with the EV tax credits getting cut. EV sales will go down if people are not going to be getting that tax benefit. So keep that in mind overall. But the start of this beef, man, Elon Musk basically started it and he escalated it with personal attacks, even saying that Donald Trump was included in the Epstein files. And that's the real reason they have not been public. We did see Tesla go down 14% when this beef started. Honestly, you could have made a lot of money with that. You can also make it to the upside if this beef kind of gets squashed or anything like that. So also keep that in mind. If we look over at the heat map for the overall week, Tesla is down almost 17%, which is insane. So Elon Musk is taking some modest losses. We also got a few hours ago that most recently indicating that they are deleting all of the back and forth social posts. So maybe this is good, maybe this is bad, but basically they're just deleting everything, especially Tesla deleting the Epstein files tweet and other posts. But on a note that can move the overall market, a call between President Trump and Chinese President Xi has set the stage for trade negotiations, resuming on Monday, June 9th in London. We are also nearing our July 9th deadline for the 90-day pause. US and China trade talks progress. The outcome of Monday's talks in London will be pivotal. A failure to reach agreements could heighten tariff-related volatility, while progress might ease market concerns overall. So keep that in mind because this can really move the market up or down depending on how it goes. So China's restrictions on rare earth exports as a potential market mover, which could impact industry reliant on these materials, such as technology and clean energy. This is seen as a countermeasure to US tariff policies, adding a global trade uncertainty. Trade talks between the US and India, focusing on tariff cuts in farming and auto sectors, were extended into next week, June 9th to the 10th. After failing to conclude by Friday, both nations aim to have a deal by July 9th, with ambitions to double trade by 2030. Now let's talk more about the OPEC Plus supply hike. So OPEC Plus announced its third consecutive supply increase, which could pressure oil prices and influence energy markets. Combined with better than expected China PMI, this suggests some global economic resilience. Something else I've been announcing in most of my daily videos, But the Apple WWDC 2025, it starts June 9th. Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference keynote will unveil some updates to the iOS, iPadOS, and macOS, and more. While no major hardware announcements are expected, software advancements could influence Apple's stock and the broader tech sector. And they can also announce some AI, because you guys know Apple has been kind of behind with the AI hype. So this can bring up some AI stocks. So watch like NVIDIA, Broadcom, and some other AI companies like that, because they could add some AI and make their products basically better and hopefully bring that overall Apple stock price up. But with that being said, man, only Monday we can see if we hold above that $6,000 level, or Sunday night. But markets are navigating a complex landscape driven by trade tensions, particularly US and China, and US and India negotiations, and China's rare earth restrictions. Next week's CPI data, ECB rate decision, and corporate earnings will be critical for gauging economic and market directions. Investors should monitor these events closely, as tariff developments and inflation indicators could trigger volatility across the overall market. So keep that in mind overall. I'm hyped to see where the market opens up. Hopefully we open up higher and this bull rally keeps on moving, and or we might see a big sell-off depending on how everything goes. But honestly, just keep your eyes on the market and news overall to stay updated. With that being said, let's get to everybody's favorite part of the video, and that's supports and resistance and some potential plays. And then afterwards, I'll give you guys 5 free stocks to day trade and kind of talk about them a little bit more on why they're good day trade stocks for next week. And I do recommend watching them. So first off, let's talk about the overall SPY. We broke above that 600 level, very short term period. With that being said, I am going to be looking at that 600 level for next week. If we can break above that, look at 601.5, 602.5, and that 605 level. We can break above that, look at 607.5 and 610 to the downside. If we do start selling and or we don't break above that 600 level, look at 598.5, 597, 595, 593.5, and then all the way down to the 590 level for SPY overall. For Apple, man, it's going to be very volatile this week, especially depending on what they announce, and that's starting tomorrow on Monday. So to the upside, look at that 205 level. If you break above that, 205.5, 206.5, 207.5, and finally that 210 level. Above that, look at 215. To the downside, look at 203.5, 202, 201.5, and then all the way down to that 200 level. If we can break below that and have a big sell-off, look at 198.5, 197.5, and that 195 level overall. For NVIDIA, we have been breaking up a decent amount, but haven't really broke above like 144 to 145. So honestly, I want to watch if we could break above that 144, go to 145, 146.5, and that 150 level to the upside. That's going to be parabolic for NVIDIA and bring this buy up overall. To the downside, look at 141, 140 flat, 139.5, 138, and all the way down to that 135 level for NVIDIA. For Google has been moving pretty decent recently, honestly. And honestly, if you guys didn't know, they have a $20 billion deal with Apple. And honestly, it's mainly to bring Google search engine into Apple. So if you search something up, you'll use Google. But honestly, if Apple somehow says something that they're going to be using their own search engine and or their own AI for search, is going to bring Google's price down. So keep that in mind overall. But to the upside for now, look at 176, 177.5, and 180. To the downside, look at 173.5, 172.5, 171.5. Yeah, Google moves pretty slow, so we're going to keep them a little bit close. And then 170 flat. If we break below that, look at 169.5 and 168.5. Be very cautious, very slow trading this. And yeah, next one is going to be Palantir. Is a decent stock. We did break up a decent amount last week, honestly getting up to like the 134s. I do want to see if we can break above that 135 for this week, but we are looking like a little bit moving bullish a little bit. We did have a big sell-off too as well on Thursday, but honestly on Monday, let's look at that 130 level. If we can break above that, look at 132.5. And then finally, that 135 level, if we can break above that, look at 140 next. To the downside, man, look at that 124. 120 level is going to be key. If we break below that, look at 117.5 and all the way down to that 115 level for Palantir. Honestly, just have your patience for this one, like every other stock. Tesla, man, I believe Tesla is going to be that make or break. We can either break above, fill some gaps upwards, and or fill some gaps downwards and make some new lows. So honestly, to the downside, if this beef continues, look at 295, 290, and then all the way down to that 285 and then 280. Below that, look at 275 and then 270 flat. Below that, look at 265 and then that 260 level. To the upside, man, look at that 300. If you could break above that 300, look at 305, 310, 315, and 320. be very, very cautious and watch news and watch the back and forth beef if you guys do want to trade Tesla overall. So yeah, next one is going to be Bitcoin, because Bitcoin honestly did start rallying back up, but didn't break the 105.8 level. So honestly, watch this level for next week. If it could break above this, look at some higher levels of like 106, 107, and then maybe even 110. But if you start selling off, look at 105 and all the way down to that 104 level. If we break below that, we might get back to the lows that we had before, maybe test that $100,000 level. With that being said, some stocks like MSTR, Coinbase, and if you guys don't want to risk too much money, especially on option contracts, you guys can look at IBIT. I do recommend looking at IBIT. They're pretty cheap and honestly reliable. So now some stocks to watch for the week. So Tesla, why? Trump and Musk kind of got their planned call, could drive some swings, and Tesla pre-markets rise suggests some momentum. So keep that in mind. So next one's going to be Broadcom. So their earnings report did have a big sell-off. So keep that in mind overall. And honestly, man, we have been looking like we're selling off a decent amount, but the chip sector overall can bring the stock up or down. And especially if we get some bearish moves with the chip sector, Broadcom is probably the best one to play to the downside, just because we already got some downside momentum overall with Broadcom. So keep that one on your radar. Next one is going to be CrowdStrike. Cybersecurity stocks are volatile right now. And honestly, the earnings did pretty good, but it did sell off a decent amount. So look at it filling some gaps upwards and or just start selling off once again. So keep CrowdStrike on your radar. Apple, man, they got the WWDC coming out, so that can move very, very volatile and honestly make you a decent amount of money if you play it correctly. So watch the WWDC, be updated, and honestly, Apple can make you a decent amount of money this week. Next, NVIDIA, just because of the AI hype coming out, and especially with markets rallying, NVIDIA is one stock that people get into pretty frequently, so keep that in mind. So honestly, NVIDIA is great just because it's just a popular stock and you can make a decent amount of money, especially if the market starts going up even more. You could see NVIDIA go up even more, and you got some safe contracts that you guys can hold. But with that being said, guys, the overall market is looking pretty decent. Just be updated with the news overall, please, and take your time. Just take your time, literally. Day trading is very risky, so please do not risk money that you're not willing to lose. And thank you for watching the video. Smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and make daily videos like this all the time. Let us get to 500 subs and check out those courses below. Peace out.